So welcome back. In the last video we created the user and we assigned the role and permission to the user, and we assigned the permission if only a permission has been assigned here to the user. So in this video we are actually going to fix some errors we have right now, because right now if you click the save user, after saving this user, this model should disappear, should go away from the screen, and also we should load the new user into this table. And the next thing we want to fix is when you click this save user, it should show a sign indicating your request is being sent. So we're actually going to be fixing all that in this video, and so let's get started. So we're using bootstrap view, and in this bootstrap view has spinners. That means an indicator showing an action is being performed. So if you come over to bootstrap view and go over to spinners, and we're actually going to be using the button, which is either of this. It all depends on your choice, but I'm actually going to be using this because it looks okay to me. So I'm going to copy this right here and come over here and paste this. So right now, if we should refresh our page. Let's just close this for now. So let's just wait for that to load. So we have the loading right here. The loading. So I want it to be a btn large. I want it to be a big class. Btn large. So I want it to be a big button, and I want it to be beside this. So if we should refresh, so it's actually btn large without the space. Forgot that, and let's try that again. So we have a big button right here, and we actually want this button to replace this save user whenever you click on save user. So to do that, it's actually not too difficult to do. It's actually easy. So I'm just going to create a variable. Let's just say load, and this variable value will be set to false initially. So I'm going to give a condition statement to this to only show if this variable is true. So this will show if, let's just if this is actually false. Okay, let's set this to true. Let's set it to true. So if the value is actually true, load. So if this value is true, this will show, and if this value is false, this value right here, if it's false, is so let's say if load is not true. So hopefully you understand this. If the value here is true, this button will show, If the value is false, and this button will show. So both buttons can show at the same time. And let's just see this and refresh. Let's just refresh this. So we have just one button showing, and if the value of the load variable is being set to false, the other button is going to show. So let's see this, and if this is now false, let's just change it to false. So we have the other button, loading button, and actually so let's just change this to creating account. So let's refresh that. So create new, let's come over here and change this to false. So we have the creating account, and this is actually what we want. So if we should come over to create, I want to say this dot load is equal to false. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And when I say then want to get a response, and I actually want to catch the errors, so let's just copy from here. I think we have an error in our code. Let's just check that out and see. Oh, okay, so I think that's the error, and let's see that. Yeah, so right here, first thing I have to do, I have to say if this is equal to error, that means cannot probably create user. Let's say try again, and the type will be error. And right here, let's say user created successfully, and right here I want to say created. So the type would be a success message, and right here I want to say this dot load is equal to true. So we're returning this variable to the initial state after that, and let's just say this too. So hopefully this makes sense to you. So the next thing we want to do is after creating a new user, we want to hide this modal, and if we get an error, we still want to keep this modal. So to do that is we actually need the name, which is the ID, which is create modal, and come over here. So let's just say this is actually a jQuery code, and I'll say hash. Let's just say the name of the modal, the ID of the modal. So I did this dot modal, and this we have the ID. So this actually modal. So this is all we need to do. So when we create a new user now, we get the loading effect, and we actually hide this modal. So let's try that out. Let's try to create a new user. And let's say so a random number, and I want the password to be password, and I actually want to assign two permissions to this. So let's see this effect right now, and we creating yeah. So the modal is disappeared and we get the success message right here. So if we should refresh this page, we're going to see that user right here. So this is the user we just created, and for now the table is not being updated. And to do this, there is actually a package we can install, and it's called Pusher. And what Pusher does is it creates an event. You create an event in your database, so whenever a new record is being inserted into the database, or a new activities is being performed in the database, it triggers the event and broadcasts the message back to the server, and you actually get the message. But for the sake of this video, we're going to be using view event box, and yeah, so we're going to be using view events box, which will give us the same result as the pusher.js, but we don't I won't advise you to use the event box, because sometimes if you use the event box too much in your project, it can get bunky and actually start to break down. So to do this, let's just fix this row. Since we're getting the names, since we're getting everything, we're already saving the role in the database. If we should refresh in the user right here, let's see response. Okay, we're not getting the rows from the user. So let's go over to the user model, the user controller, and actually see this. And right here we can just say use a method, and let's just say with rows. So this we also get the rows, and let's try to refresh that. So let's check our user now. So we get the row, we've gotten the row, but it's returning the old object for the row. I only want the name, so this might not work out for us. So there is something we can actually do. We can just say create a transform method, and this will transform. Oh, okay, let's just use the transform method. There are other ways you can do this, but this the only thing I can think of right now. I think there is another way we can do this, but for now this is the only thing I can think of. And we can actually return the user, and let's just say user dot row, and this will be the $user. Let's just say rows. Let's just say is it get rows, and let's check the documentation. Forgotten the method. Let's see basic usage. I think this is it. So let's try to get the row. So this is it. So user.getRows name, and since we're saving just a row for each user, that means no user have two rows. So we can just say use the first method and actually get the first method. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And let's just refresh this page right now to actually get that. So let's check that now, and we are left with just the role name. So this is still returning the user, which is this. That's good. And in our view component, we can just use the user.role. So let's refresh that. So let's refresh this page and see. So we've gotten the role name, the editor, the admin, but for this user we've not assigned a role to it, and we'll be doing that in the edit section of this video, where we can actually edit a user. So okay, back to what we were doing. I said the event bus, when you create a new user, this table should refresh, and to actually do that we need to call on an event. So after we've created the user, we need to call on the event, and let's just say fire dot $emit. We need to emit the event, and the event will be load users. Let's just start with that small letter. Load users. So this will be the event, and if you're wondering where this fire comes from, remember we create a window variable and give a new instance of the Vue.js into the window variable, which is fire, so we can use it anywhere in our component. So that's where the fire comes from, and we are actually emitting an event, which is this. So hopefully this makes sense to you. So we emit this event. That means whenever this user is being created, we want to emit this event, which will trigger this function. So let's actually create the function right now. So to do that, let's just say fire.on. So this will be $on, and the name of the event we want to load, which is $users, and this will be a method. So we need to put a comma right here, and actually, yeah. So we want to trigger this get user method. Let's just say this dot get users. So hopefully this makes sense to you. When we click on the create user button, it will trigger this function, and if the action is successful, we want to emit this event. This event will then load the get user method again. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Let's refresh that. So let's try to create a new user right now, and let's just say so this will be a random phone number. We're not actually checking against this phone number, so you can do that if you want to. And this will be an editor. The password will be password, and let's just say create rows, and let's just see this. So the table, the information has been added to the table. This is the user we just created, so we don't need to refresh the table to actually get this user right here. So we can do this one more time, and let's just say okay. This is another bug we need to fix. Whenever we create a new user, we need to empty the whole feed, and to do that the v form that we're using actually has a method that we can use to empty that. So to do that, we just need to say this dot form dot reset. So this will reset the whole form. So let's try that again. Let's try to create a new user, and let's just give it random name. Let's see. A random phone number. Remember, we're not checking against that. Let's say password, and let's give him a permission. Let's see that. So we have the new user right here, and let's just try to create. So you can see this form has been emptied, and this is actually what we want. So we fixed some of the bugs I I noticed right now. So in the next video, we're actually going to be creating the view the more details about the user, and actually get to edit the user and delete the user. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. So bye.